Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and review some examples from this week as far as what we're talking about here with positive and negative numbers. Okay, here we're looking at this and we're saying to ourselves, I have a -1 and I have a +4. So first, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and look at where's -1 on my number line. So I'm going to start at 0, -1. Whenever I'm talking about negative, I'm talking about going left. Okay, so I'm going to go left down the number line. So my -1, I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go here to -1. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take this +4. Okay, +4. Whenever we're doing positive, we're going that way. This is just your basic adding. Whenever you add, you go to the right down the number line. So I'm going right down the number line here. So from -1, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And I'm going to be here at +3. So what I have is, what I end up with is that -1 plus +4 equals +3. Okay. Now, for this situation, there's another rule that we want you guys to know. Okay, for this situation, we want you guys to know that whenever I have different signs, so I'm adding and I have different signs. I have -1 and +4. So this is different signs. -1, +4. Okay. We're going to have a rule for that. Okay. Our rule for that is going to be, here we go, different signs, subtract, and keep the bigger numbers sign. Okay, so that right there, that's our rule. Okay, different signs, subtract, and keep the bigger number sign. So here I have -1 and +4. Those are different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 4 and 1 is 3. Okay, the bigger number is 4, so I'm going to keep this positive. So my answer is still here +3, and you can see that that matches up here. So different signs, subtract and keep the bigger number sign. Okay, so here's a slightly different one. So now I have 4 minus 6. That's how you would normally read this, 4 minus 6. But really, what I'm looking at here is that I have a +4 and a -6. Okay? So again, I'm going to go ahead and start on my number line at 0, and I'm going to go to +4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So I'm right here at +4. Okay? Now I have a -6. And remember, whenever we have a negative, we're going to go this way. We're going to go left down the number line. All right? So now I'm going to apply this -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I wind up here at my -2. Okay, so 4 -6 is -2. And remember, this applies our same rule. We have different signs. We have +4, -6. I subtract. 6 minus 4 is 2. 6 is more powerful, or 6 is the bigger number, so my answer is negative. Okay? All right, so we have 4 and -6 is -2. Okay, now here's the one that a lot of you guys kind of freak out about, I think. All right, we have a -6 minus -2. Remember, this sign here means opposite. Okay, this sign means opposite. Okay, so really what we're looking at is -6 and opposite -2. So -6 and opposite -2. Well, what's the opposite of -2? +2. So really, we change this now into -6 and +2. Okay, so whenever we see these double negatives, we have to switch it. This symbol, this minus sign or this negative sign means opposite. Opposite of -2 is +2. So now I have a situation here where I have -6. So I'm going to start at 0 and I'm going to go to my -6. And then I have my +2. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go 1, 2. I have my +2 and that leaves me at, whoops, that leaves me at -4. So I would say this equals -4. And if we're applying our rule, remember, so we have a negative and a positive, right? Different signs. I'm going to subtract and keep the bigger number sign. Different signs, subtract and keep the bigger number sign. Okay, so 6 minus 2 is 4. 6 is bigger, so the negative is more powerful, so my answer is negative. Okay, now here's the last example that I'm going to go through. Okay, so we have -2 and a -3. This situation, we have the same sign. So first I'm going to go ahead on the number line. I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to go to my -2. Okay, which will put me here. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead, okay, I have -2 and I have -3. Remember, negative, we're going left. Okay, so if I'm going -3, I'm going 1, 2, 3. And this would be -5. And that's my answer. Okay. Now, we have a rule for this too. We have a rule for this when we have same signs. Okay, so same signs, add and keep the sign. Okay, so same signs, we're going to add and keep. And you'll see here, if I have my -2 and -3, I'm going to apply my rule, add and keep. 2 plus 3 is 5. The sign that they have is negative, so it's going to be -5. And you see I ended up at -5 on my number line, and I end up with -5 here. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys do some of the exercise and some of the homework while you're there at home. I hope it clarifies the notes a little bit for you guys. And again, if you have any questions, just let us know. Have a good weekend.